Hey guys, so today we're going to be painting a Cthulhu statue. But first we need to rearrange the office. This is the guy that I am going to try to paint today. He is a coin bank, but he, as you can tell, is glow in the dark. I wanted this guy to be bronze with like a stone base. They have one that's kind of already colored, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. So we are going to just paint our own. Let's get started. This shouldn't be too difficult of a build. We're going to spray paint the base with this stone color, and then we're going to spray paint the rest in this bronze. And I also got some other paints to kind of weather it, make it look old and, you know, fitting for a Cthulhu type statue. Let's begin. Rechargeable compressed air. Got this on ThinkGeek years ago. I don't know if it's still available. Check out that design. The base is the easy part. Sprayed some compressed air to kind of leave these designs into the bottom of it. I don't know if you can see that. So now we just gotta wait for this to dry, mask off the... Sorry, my neighbor's AC kicked in. It's really loud. Alright, so once this is dry, we're going to mask off the base from the rest of the Cthulhu statue, namely the feet and the back, and then we are going to spray the rest of it bronze and do some detail work. We're gonna let this dry.
With him he bore the subject of his visit, a grotesque, repulsive, and apparently very ancient statuette.
I just realized I left the sticker on, I just took it off. No one's gonna see it anyway, so... I'm gonna try to see if I can start masking because I'm impatient like that.
Everything's okay.
What I'm doing right now is I'm cutting little triangles to fit in between the toes of the statue. I don't know if you can see that, but I want to get the entire flat part of the base around here, so that includes going into the toes a little bit. More detail work. Alright, the base is more or less masked out, but there's a couple other details that I want to mask out as well. The eyes I want to mask out because I want them to still glow. That's going to be difficult because they're really deep in this recess. So I got to figure out how I'm going to be able to cut small enough pieces out and be able to get them off after I paint it. Okay, so I've got the eyes pretty much taped off and part of the hand and knuckle that I want to still keep to glow. So now we're ready to get the rest of this thing completely painted.
It represented a monster squatted evilly on a rectangular block or pedestal covered with undecipherable characters.
So far, so good. So now we just gotta let this guy sit, and we'll come back to him in a couple hours. Okay, it's only been about 30 minutes, but as you already know, I'm impatient, so I want to go ahead and take some of the tape off and see how this looks.
Unbelievable. I think we found it. You think the unthinkable.
So far, I actually like that. I want part of it to glow as if it's coming out and becoming alive. I'm actually gonna run inside and see if any other parts are glowing, see if I need to touch up any more paint. I probably should have done that before I peeled these off, but whatever.
In his house at Berrigan, dead Cthulhu
Guys, in the dark, this thing looks awesome. The glow-in-the-dark aspects are still coming through the paint. So during the day, it looks like this. But then when it gets dark, it looks like it's actually coming alive despite having some things that are obviously showing. So I think I'm actually gonna cover up the knuckle. I'm gonna do a light touching up on the wing, this underside here. I like how the face is and the eyes are already, so I'm really just touching up this right side. Oh man, it looks way cooler than I was expecting it to be. So, we're gonna let this guy sit for a little bit, and then we're gonna get into some detail work. It's taking some of the base paint off, which I'm not too happy about. It feels as if part of it still isn't dry, but that would be my fault, so I'm okay with that. I'm willing to accept that. That blame. Again, I am impatient. I just really wanted to get to the next phase of this. And there's this guy. That kind of worked out in my favor. The tape peeled off a lot of the excess paint from the base, and it left this really nice texture. So it didn't completely take it all off, just the excess bits. Now I just need to fill in all these little details with the black paint. Sunlight's going to be my enemy here in a minute. It's starting to creep up. Sticking the way I want it to. Oh, I'm dumb. Duh. Not working because I need to mix the paint with some water. I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to use this rag to immediately wipe it off. So wow, it's actually doing it. I'm ruining this rag, but it's actually doing a pretty good job. Jam on this. Show you what I mean here. Now it's going into the crevice, so it's making the base a bit darker, but it's also going into those little cracks and stuff. So it's adding to the look. The base is pretty much done. Just gonna let that dry. Need to go rinse this off. Jack this off for a second. Now with the green, I gotta be careful with this one because unlike the black, I'm not trying to get it into the crevices, I'm trying to just gently get on all these high spots. So I'm gonna mix with this brush, just a little bit of paint, a little bit of water. That brush is wet, so I'm gonna take this dry brush, I'm gonna do a test on the back wing here, like so. Thanks! One thing to remember when you're dry brushing, you want to do multiple strokes because you want to get it to fade as you're brushing. So you lose those streaks. So when you start, you're going to see streaks, but the more you brush, those will start to fade out. Yes. Gotta be careful, I don't want to get his eyes. I think, wow, okay. I am so happy with the results. Here, you guys gotta look at this. Alright, so as you can see, the green has only stuck to certain highlights. I don't want to do too much because I think there is such a thing as too much. I think this is good enough as it is. So I'm going to add one other detail to the base to kind of add to the overall aesthetic and look of this statue. But first I got to wash these brushes. Whacking! Whacking! Always clean your brushes, guys. Alright, so last thing I wanted to add to this particular statue, even though I am very happy with how it looks already. The base is really, really small, so there's not a lot of area that I could really add this detail to, but I wanted to do it anyway, and that is moss. This is fake moss. Actually, this is flock. Essentially, they use these for grass and stuff, for like model train sets and army sets and stuff. I got two different colors of it because if you look at any pictures of nature, especially with moss, it's never one solid color throughout. I mean, in big patches, sure, in the middle, but around the edges, it starts to get darker or lighter depending on the type of moss it is. So I got two different colors. So one I'm going to use sort of as like a base, and then the thicker stuff I'm going to put on top. And we're going to apply it to the base by just painting on some good old-fashioned Elmer's glue. So let's get to it. I'm not going to eat it. I wasn't that weird of a kid. Is this stuff toxic? Non-toxic. I actually didn't think about that. I'm going to need a place to store this stuff when I'm done, and I don't have any Ziploc bags, and these aren't resealable. I've been needing to buy new Tupperware anyway. If a big gust of wind comes along, it's gonna be a bad time. So I'm going into this knowing that, and if it happens, you can laugh at my expense. This is essentially just crushed up foam, and this is going to go on the edges of the moss patches I'm going to put on the base here. And this, as you can tell, this is a lighter green, and it's thicker pieces as well. So that's what flock is, and that's what it looks like up close. So essentially you apply some glue to a surface, you start pressing this into the glue and letting it dry.
Every morning you know exactly what you're going to do and why.
Oh god. Yep. I spilled my flock. Learning here, I think I'm doing this in the wrong order. I'm putting the thinner stuff first, but then that's taking up all the glue. So when I put the thicker stuff, it's not sticking the way I want it to. So I'm gonna have to put on the thicker stuff first, and then thinner stuff on top. And I think that'll just add the same effect that I'm going for. I'm just lightly blowing on it because the glue is more or less dry at this point, and I want to get all the excess moss off of the statue so that when I'm handling it, it's not just, you know, falling off and creating a mess everywhere I take it. I think we are finally done. Well, alright guys, thank you very much for joining me on this project here. It was a lot of fun. Something new again, working with flock, first time, so I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have plenty of it left, obviously, in those containers, so I'll have to think of some other project I can use it with. This was a couple hours, not as long as the Miles Morales paint job. Probably about 4, including the drying times in between. So thank you once again for joining me with this particular paint project. Expect a couple more soon, or if you have any ideas of something I should do, leave it in the comments. But that's pretty much it. So I will catch you guys later. Bye.
In a crude laboratory in the basement of his home.
And workspace is now clean. Big thanks to Adam Savage. The whole reason I know half the stuff that I did in today's video is because of watching his tested videos and his one-day builds. Very great resource for information. Like I said, I've never used flocking before. I've never painted something like this before. All new experience, but I'm glad that it all worked out. Other than that, if you like the t-shirt that I'm wearing, Good friend of mine, Ian LEINO, sells them. Link in the description to his store. Please check them out and show them some love. But other than that, thanks again, guys. Take care.